What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to break down the Xfinity Series race that is later on today at COTA. We have a nice little road course race for these Xfinity guys. I actually really like road courses. I think they're pretty easy to predict, especially a race like COTA where there's not a ton of laps. So I'm not interested in dominators at all. I don't really care about playing pretty much anyone really inside the top 10. Because there's only 46 laps. Like, this is not going to be a race where there's a lot of dominator points to get. This is going to be a big-time place differential race, and there's a ton of good place differential plays. So we're going to get into it real quick here. Sam Mayer, starting 10th place, $7,800. I'm just not going to be too interested in him. I mean, he didn't really do any sort of good at any of the road courses he ran at last year. Sheldon Creed, starting 6th, I think is definitely a threat to win, but starts too high for me to be interested in DraftKings. Bayley Curry, starting 29th at $5,000. I think that's an okay play. There's definitely other guys I'd rather get to that are cheap at starting the back, especially when I'm not playing a lot of the guys that are really expensive. So I don't think you need to get Bayley Curry, but he is an okay play if you want to go there. Scott Heckert is probably going to be popular as a road course guy coming here, but I mean, he's in BJ McLeod car, and he's $6,300. I don't really think I ever want to pay that much money for a BJ McLeod Motorsports car. He does start 32nd today. If you want to get there, I understand it, but I don't think it's for me. Ryan Vargas starts 34th. Like, I'd rather play him than Bayley Curry just because of their starting spot, and he's a little bit cheaper. I completely understand if you want to go to Ryan Vargas here, starting 34th. Justin Allgaier starting 9th. I mean, it's probably where he's going to run all day. You know, maybe he gets a top 5 here, but too expensive starting 9th for me to really be interested in him. I think Josh Berry will pull some ownership, but Josh Berry only ran one road course last year. This is not what he's going to be a specialty at. He is not a road course driver. He's a short track guy, comes from that background. His only road course race last year, he did not run well at all. And that was Mid-Ohio, which is really not similar at all to COTA. That's probably the least similar of all the road courses to COTA, in all honesty. So I mean, if you want to play him, I get it. He'll probably get a top 20, but like that scares me a lot. He has very little experience on the roads. So not going to be someone I really want to get too much exposure to, but if you're playing a lot of lineups, I would still get some Josh Berry. Noah Grackson starting 12th, $9,900. I mean, I think this is an okay play. I think Noah Grackson he gets, a little bit of a worse rap than he deserves at these road courses. He usually runs in the top 5. Those first 3 races last year, I mean, Daytona, there was engine issues before the race started. Like, he started a race like 4 laps down. COTA, he wrecked. And Mid-Ohio, he literally wrecked on the first turn. He finished dead last. So, I mean, but then after that, consistent runs. He wasn't really out there leading many laps or anything. But I think he could definitely get you top 5. And, I mean, he could win this race, in all honesty. I mean, he's been the best driver so far this year in the Xfinity Series. So, I don't think this is the best play in the world, but if you want to get there, I don't mind it. Landon Castle's fine, starting 14th, $8,500. Probably won't be too highly owned, so good tournament play, in my opinion. Daniel Hamrick, $9,700, starting 19th. Never really been a good road course guy, although he did do very well to Roval last year, the most recent road course we've been to. But, again, overall, last year really wasn't much of a road course guy at all. Was just kind of a top 10 driver all day, so I don't really think he has the upside. Like, I think Noah Grackson has upside to probably go out here and win. I don't think Daniel Hamrick does, so for similar prices, I'm not probably going to be too interested in him. Adrian Allmendinger is the favorite to win today. Him and Ty Gibbs are pretty much tied. I mean, they are tied on DraftKings odds right now. I'm just not, if he's going to be a dominator, it's not going to do much for me. Bubba Wallace, historically, is just completely terrible at road courses. I don't want to get there. I know he's in a Joe Gibbs racing car, but he wasn't really fast in practice or qualifying yesterday, so I'm not really too interested there. He probably runs around 15th all day. Brandon Jones is pretty much probably the first lock button. He's probably going to be the highest owned driver on the slate for good reason. Starts 38th. We've seen him have some bad luck at road courses with accidents and stuff. I mean, he's not a great road course driver by any means, but he starts 38th. If he gets you a top 20, you're happy. You had a good day from him. And Brandon Jones should get a top 20, in all honesty. There's an alarm. Sorry, hold on. All right. Austin Hill, $7,600, starting 8th. I just don't want to play him starting 8th place. Anthony Alfredo, starting 18th. Probably won't get a ton of ownership, $6,900. That's fine. He has top 10 upside. I really like Parker Chase here. I mean, he comes from a road course background, road racing background here. And Sam Hunt Racing is pretty good equipment. I mean, this is the car we saw John Hunter Nemechek run the top 10 all week. He could definitely get a top 10 in this car. I don't know how many people are going to be on him at all. He'll probably get some ownership, but he probably won't be as highly owned as he probably should. So I really like Parker Chase today. Definitely someone I want to play on DraftKings Jeb Burton, $6,100, starting 20th. He was decent at road courses last year, although that wasn't a college car, not an hour car, which is a slight downgrade. I mean, it's a little more than a slight downgrade. It's a downgrade. Probably not going to be too interested in him, but I don't think he's a bad play. Patrick Gallagher, I don't really know much about Patrick Gallagher, but he's in a good car. Like, RSS equipment is pretty solid. I mean, it's not the best in the world, but it's like middle of the pack. Starts 30th, and he's really cheap. So I'm completely fine going there. This is not a play that I hate at all. Myatt Snyder starting 21st at $7,200. Probably won't get any ownership, but these are the kind of races that Myatt Snyder's good at. He's a good road course driver. This is his background. He comes from road racing, and I know he hasn't had a good start to the year, but this is a good place for him to get it turned around. I can definitely see him getting a top 10 today, so I definitely like getting to Myatt Snyder. This is definitely a play that I'm definitely interested in. Jesse Iwuji did not make the race. Shocking. Parker Kligerman, I'm not going to play. I mean, I was kind of excited seeing him in this car this week to see what he could do, but starting 11th, I'm just not interested. I don't want to play this car starting 11th, ever. So, especially $8,300, so I'm just not interested. Alex Labey will probably run well, but starting 5th, I'm just not interested in him. Will Rogers is probably one of the guys I'm really interested in him. We'll group him and Ryan Sieg together. They're on the same team today for RSS Racing. Ryan Sieg's probably going to be the guy that most people play here for a little bit more money because that's a name they know, but I don't think that's the move. I think you should go to Will Rogers. They're basically in the same car, and Ryan Sieg is not a good road course driver at all. Will Rogers is. Like, this is his background. His background comes from road racing, and we did see him run very well in the Sam Hunt car last year in the times that he was in that car at a road course. So I do think Will Rogers could do well. I wouldn't expect him to get like a top 10 like he was running in the Sam Hunt car because that is a little bit better. But I think top 20 to top 15 is what we can expect from here. I think his upside's higher than Ryan Sieg because, again, Ryan Sieg just is not a good road course driver whatsoever. So I'm definitely interested in Will Rogers. I think Ryan Sieg will get the more ownership. So I am perfectly fine going down to Will Rogers. If you want to play both, I think it's fine. I don't think Ryan Sieg's a bad play. I just don't think its upside's too high. Sage Karam, $5,600, starting 24th. That's a good play. I mean, I don't mind getting there. I'd prefer to go to his teammate Balicki again. Although, I mean, Karam is a good road course driver too. It's just Balicki starts a little bit farther back. We saw him compete for a win at Road America 2 years ago in, I forgot, I think it was SS Greenlight team, or it might have been DGM. But I mean, like, not great equipment. Alpha Prime is like average. It's probably below average equipment, but it's not the bottom of the barrel. It's not your JD Motorsports or Mike Harmon Racings. Like, or Jimmy Means. Like, it's a fine car. Fine equipment here. So starting 27th, he could definitely get you a top 15. This is where Josh Balicki succeeds, is at the road courses, so I definitely like going there. Brendan Poole did not make the race. J.B. Ferb was someone I was going to be interested in coming into the race, but I don't think I am as much for DraftKings anymore. He's a little bit more expensive than I was expecting him to be. He is a good road course driver. This is where J.B. Ferb comes from. We saw him run decently well in the road courses last year. However, you know, that was the Big Machine Racing last year. It was not an RCR team. This year, it's basically RCR's third or fourth car. So probably fourth car. The Jordan Anderson car is probably third. So, I mean, this is really good equipment. I mean, we'll talk about my sports betting in a second, but I don't mind a Jade Buford outright bet today. I think you could get worse plus 5,000 odds on. You could bet other things for plus 5,000 that just don't have a shot of hitting. But so Jade Buford, you know, he could definitely get a top 5, but I think he'll definitely get a top 10. It's not a bad play. It's just I think there's other better plays, you know, that start farther back. Jeremy Clements, I think he's going to be owned, but I really like this. I mean, you know, his only win was at a road course. He usually runs decently well at road courses, although he's 3-race run where one of those was COTA. He didn't run too well, but, I mean, you know, average position in the 20s for the most part. He's not too expensive, starting 26. He could definitely get you a top 10. Gar Robinson didn't make the race. Ty Gibbs, the favorite to win. I mean, you know, he's awesome everywhere, but he's really good at road courses. I mean, he showed it last year. I mean, he was just awesome everywhere he went. So, I think the only one who didn't run was COTA, right? Yeah, he didn't run COTA last year, but I'm not really too worried about that. So, you know, starting on the pole, looks like a really good play, or looks like a really good sports bet. Not going to play him on DraftKings. He doesn't really offer you any upside. JJ Yeley starting 36. He'll probably get ownership because he's JJ Yeley, but, I mean, you know, out of all the cars that are cheap starting in the back, this is probably one of the worst, if not the worst car, so I'm not really too interested there. I'd rather just play other guys like Will Rogers. So, probably not going to be too interested there in J.J. Yeley. Brandon Brown starting 28th. I think that's a fine play. He probably competes for a top 20, $6,400. Doesn't have a ton of upside, but he's fine. Josh Williams didn't make the race. Miguel Paludo starts 17th. This is a really good play. He's going to get ownership. In the few races he ran last year at Junior Motorsports, in the road course, he did run well. He wrecked at the very end, I think, of Mid-Ohio, but he was like in the top 5 that race. So, Miguel Paludo, good road course driver. He's out here just trying to win races. I don't think he's going to win, but, I mean, he could definitely get you a top 5 and probably will get you a top 10 as long as it's a wreck. So, $8,900 starting 17th. I really like that play. Preston Pars was someone that was going to be really highly owned coming into the week. I don't think that's the case anymore. He starts 7th place. DGM looks fast this week, but I just, not going to play guys starting inside the top 10. Ross Chastain, same thing. Was really fast yesterday. But, still just, I don't want to play guys starting at 9. I mean, I know it is still a DGM car. Like, it's Ross Chastain. He's a good road course driver. We almost saw him win a Cup race. We'll talk about him in the Cup video tomorrow. But, like, it's still a DGM car, and you're paying $10,000 and he's starting second. I don't want to play that. Riley Herbst, really, really underrated road course driver. Aside from this Daytona race where he wrecked in 2nd place, he ran pretty well at the road courses all year. Starting 22nd, he has top 5 upside for sure. He is not a bad road course driver whatsoever. Honestly, this might be the best part of the Riley Herbst experience is the road courses. It's still not great, but it's not that bad. You're not paying too much for him. He offers you some upside. He's not going to be too highly owned because, for the most part, not always, but for the most part, Riley Herbst does not get a ton of ownership. Stephen Parsons, starting 33rd at $4,700, didn't run a road course last year. Not the best equipment in the world, but he's really, really cheap. If you need to get some salary savers, I think that's probably your best guy under 5K. Is going to Stephen Parsons. He probably won't wreck it. So starting at 30-30 could probably get you top 25, and at $4,700, it's going to be fine. Brett Moffitt, $7,100, starting 13th. Probably not going to be interested. He probably runs there all day. Cole Custer, look, I mean, we were all over Cole Custer at Auto Club a few weeks ago, and it paid off. Obviously, won. That was a great play, but this is different. I mean, he's still going to be in a Stewart-Haas racing car. It's not going to be an SS Greenlight car. It's going to be a Stewart-Haas racing car, But it's just, Cole Custer's not a good road course driver. He never was in the Xfinity Series. He's been terrible in Cup, so I don't want to play him starting 3rd. I mean, he did qualify well. Good for him, but I'm just not going to be too interested in that. I'd be really shocked if we go see Cole Custer win today. Like, good for him. That'd be a huge improvement for him, but I don't think it's going to happen. Joe Graff Jr. starting 31st. I just don't. I'm tired of playing him, man. I think I'm pretty much just overplaying Joe Graff Jr. ever, so probably not going to go there. So, yeah, I do want to make sure, best guy under 5K is going to be Stephen Parsons. If you need to go there, I don't think you really have to go there today. You can get away playing a lot of guys in just a 6, 7, 8K range, and you'll be fine. But if you need to go down cheap, I would go Stephen Parsons. Moving on to my sports betting, my few sports bets. Beautiful looking page over there. We got AJ Allmendinger outrights. Here are my outrights. I got 5. I usually don't have this many outright bets, but I'm not putting a lot of money on Jake Buford. But Allmendinger, Gibbs, Grackson, Sheldon Creed, and Jake Buford. Look, Allmendinger and Gibbs, they're favorites. I mean, I'm a little bit worried about Ty Gibbs. I don't think this is not the type of. He does really good at the Roval types. Like, he didn't do good at Road America last year. And then Watkins Glen, I mean, he ran well. He didn't win that race. Oh no, he did win that race. Never mind. Watkins Glen isn't that similar to COTA though. But Road America is probably the closest one to COTA in my opinion, and he didn't run too great there. So, although he did have. I think he had a wrecked or had engine issues, but before that he wasn't running fantastic. But I do think he still should be the favorite to win. I mean, he was awesome at the road courses last year. Him and AJ should be. I'm betting both of them today. One of them more than likely wins. That's pretty much just those bets for me. It's slight profit. But Noah Grackson, I mean, you're not. I actually got him at plus 1,400. He's plus 1,200 as I'm recording this video, so I wrote that down. Look, he's not the favorite for a good reason. He's not the best road course driver, but he's not bad either. And Noah Grackson, I know Ty Gibbs has 2 wins, but Grackson's been the most consistent and best driver this season in the Xfinity Series. And you're getting the best driver in the series right now at plus 1,200. I'll take that. I don't think that's a bad bet. I think you could get worse. And I don't think the top 5 bet, I didn't write it down, I didn't bet it, but I don't think a Noah Gragson top 5 bet is bad either. That's plus 125 right now, so I like that. And then Sheldon Creed, really good road course driver. I mean, we'll talk about him more in the Truck Series video. I think he could definitely win this race. I mean, he's a very, very good road racer. And, I mean, honestly, it's probably the best part of Sheldon Creed in NASCAR is road course driving right now for him. So I could definitely see him winning plus 1,200. I like this. I think this is the best shot he's had to win a race all year. And then JP Ferd money line, we kind of talked about him, plus 5,000. I only put half a unit on it, but that's fine. I still think JP Ferd has a very realistic shot to win. And then my 2 bets here, I got Justin Allgaier finishing higher than Daniel Hamrick and Noah Grackson finishing higher than Cole Custer. The Allgaier-Hamrick one's kind of a toss-up in my opinion, but I think Allgaier, he just runs more consistently well at the road course than Hamrick does. So, I mean, I think Allgaier probably finishes 5th, and Hamrick probably finishes 8th, but that'll cash that. So, and then I think Noah Grackson just runs better than Cole Custer today. I think that just happens. So, yeah, that's really all I got. Thank you guys so much for checking this out. Make sure to hit that like button on your way out and subscribe. I will be doing a live stream. I mean, if you're watching this before the live stream, which is going to be in an hour and a half, so live stream for the truck race at 11 o'clock in the morning today. I will not be doing one for the Xfinity Series race, but that's why I got this video. So Thank you guys so much for checking this out, and have a great rest of your day.